Well, it's taken a little longer than I expected, but I'm finally getting around to making a follow-up video regarding the lister that I posted a video of, I think a number of years ago now. I was just out here working on my 70, which, on a side note, if anybody knows the length of the hood for these 70s, that'd be great, because this hood right here is actually too long, or something's not right, and it hits the steering wheel if you go to lift it up with everything bolted in place. But anyway, back to this. Okay, I've had quite a few people asking me about any problems or anything associated with this that I ran into, or would I buy from them again. And to answer the first question, would I buy from them again? Yes, I would. They were great people to deal with, and I feel that they actually provided a fairly good product, because buying these, you should expect them to not exactly be the highest quality. Also, from what I've been reading, I think the EPA has finally shut these down from being imported. So if anybody's finding these in the States, bravo, because it looks like just about everybody's been shut down. Okay, where to start? The throttle linkage or governor control assembly, I rigged up this spring here because this one here, that spring was horrible, and the thing couldn't hold a steady speed if you wanted it to. Also, when we got it, of course, this speed control knob right there was screwed in all the way, so you have to loosen that before you fire it up, otherwise the thing's going to take off spinning much faster than it should. So make sure you loosen that. Rocker arms lined up pretty good. I'm not quite sure all what I went over in the previous video, so that was okay. The fuel system is kind of jury-rigged right now just for test running, because the whole fuel filter bowl assembly that wasn't here leaked like a sieve, to say the least. I'm actually surprised this banjo fitting right here isn't leaking. I just threw in that quick fuel filter. I'd like to get something much finer here in the not too distant future, but we'll see what actually happens, because yeah, this is mostly just sat in the shop. We've got a bunch of other projects going on, and this has kind of been put on the back burner numerous times, but we're still hoping to put it to work doing something, and we'll see what happens. The problems as far as what I ran into, opening up the sump, of course there wasn't really any sand in there I'd noticed anything major. I had this all apart and back together. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the pictures I can put up of the teardown. It seemed like this thing, when we got it, was really always kind of hard starting, and it just wasn't quite, it wouldn't start how everybody said they should. So I tore into it, took the head off, and decided to lap the valves. And the interesting thing that I noticed was the exhaust valve, when I was lapping it, was only touching about half of the valve seat, and it wasn't touching the other half of the valve seat. So I sent the head off to get the valve seats reground. I also took the cylinder head didn't have a very good crosshatch at all, so I took this whole jug off, or I took the cylinder off, depending on what you want to call it, and took that into the machine shop also to get the cylinder honed, and those are about the two major things I discovered there. And of course the lifters, those weren't rotating. Well, they were, but they would rotate and then hang up in one spot, and they just weren't rotating quite like they should. So I took those out, and I originally just kind of polished them up on a lathe, and that helped a little bit. Ultimately, what I had to do to get those things working pretty much as best as I could is I took them out, stuck them in a lathe chuck that I had sitting on a surface grinder, and then went back and forth over the lifters with the surface grinder, and ended up having to take off, I want to say, a couple thousandths before everything was flat. Those lifters were just a mess. And of course then I was able to readjust everything with that right there. I got my nifty license plate air cleaner, temporary of course, but it's what I had lying around, so that's why I put that to use. let's see here. Other than that, those are about the only issues I've really ran into as far as major quality issues, which, I mean, having all that done didn't cost me more than, I want to say, like $30 to have the cylinder honed, the valve seats ground, and then it didn't cost anything for me to work on the lifters. Something else I've noticed too is with the injector, the return line. You don't need to have hooked up to anything because no fuel comes out of there. So something's probably not right there, but that's not a real big deal to me. So I've just been letting it go for now. I've had this running for, I think we had it running for, oh, I don't know, an hour tops, just to run it every now and then. There was something too with the connecting rod. I don't remember. It wasn't anything major. I'm trying to remember what it was. But other than that, I thought we definitely got what we paid for. So I'm quite pleased with the turnout of that. And it hasn't been started in several months. And it's cold right now, so let's just see how it starts. Really old in this thing, so that's probably why it's not running too good. It just hasn't been run in a while. There you have it, though. There, it's starting to run a lot better now. Okay job, but there's definitely still room for improvement. And like I said, nothing's coming out. I'm quite pleased with it though. Poop. And the EPA gets fixed. Okay, let's do a shutdown. That's the sound of an oil seal. I'm not too concerned about it. I've heard numerous other people saying that theirs did it too. So overall, I'm quite pleased, and yeah, I'm just quite pleased with the purchase and how it's turned out.